Hiya. So it's me again, and today we are back with another episode of our Wuthering Waves progression. Now, this week is going to cover the progression over the course of 2 weeks, because from last episode to the week after, there wasn't really that many differences, so I thought why not shove it all into one big episode where I make a lot of changes. Those changes being getting our first taste of Italy, or basically the closest thing to it, and unlocking a whole lot of new events, features, and endgame content. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Remember to like, comment, and sub, or I will literally make you lose your next 5 50/50s. So I feel like the most fitting thing to talk about is actually the gacha experience that I had going into the episode. Before I cover any sort of the story or progression endgame wise that I've done, or any sort of events and account level that I've been getting to, because I feel like the gacha is going to be one of the most important aspects and a big portion of how I actually will progress my characters and what characters I actually choose to level up to take towards the endgame. So now that I've actually gone shorekeeper, I have a lot of free reigns to do whatever I want. But I am a little bit of a goofy goober because I didn't do my research in advance. When my free shorekeeper banner ended, I actually never realized that shorekeeper was no joke coming back on the phase after the patch, when the patch dropped, when Augusta and all that sort of stuff started coming out, which is kind of silly because I spent 30 pulls on the weapon banner for that limited time banner, which means that those 30 pulls are probably gone and not counting towards any sort of pity, which is a little sad, because I could have used that towards actually using it on a weapon banner that will continue to have pity, or on a character that could prove to be very useful on my account, right? And speaking of useful characters, there are two very useful characters on the banner, which is why I've kind of just been going at it and throwing 10 pulls here and there. Two characters being Augusta and Carlotta. And the reason why I think these characters are so good is because they can bring out a lot from the characters that I actually already have on my account. Carlotta being able to bring out a lot from my Baijeux, and Augusta being able to bring out a lot of my Mortivi's potential, which is what I kind of want to do because I have been investing a lot into his echoes. Also, Augusta's animations look absolutely incredible. I did try her in the little trial zone, and I'm going to be honest, I still have no idea how the character works. But if I do pull for Augusta, there is some concern that, um, I might not be able to farm the resources, which is a little bit, a little bit of a concern, but I have been making my way through the story, so I'm assuming that if I do pull for Augusta, me being gated from the resources shouldn't happen for too long, at least. And let's talk about the story. So before I actually do say anything, spoiler alert, spoiler warning, flashing red lights across the screen. Don't watch any further if you haven't started Rinascita on your account for whatever reason. So, Rinascita as a story, in my opinion, I feel at least steps up a lot from the previous two regions, being the Black Shores and Huanglong. And I feel this way for two reasons, and it's not because of the story itself. The two reasons why I feel like the story is so much better is A, because of the characters. The characters are so much more interesting, and the voice acting is incredible. And B, it's actually because of the camera work that really brings the most out of each scene. It's crazy how nice the game looks, and how nice, the game makes itself look when you get to Rinascita. After taking that elevator up from, the Mercury Church or Sanctuary or whatever it was called, I don't really remember. After taking that elevator up and just seeing the whole of Rinascita just open up to you, and seeing entire fields and echoes everywhere was truly breathtaking, and it was great. But the story itself is nothing special, at least for what I know of right now. I am up only to Act 2, and realistically the only thing that has happened is, hey, look, religious people are bad, which I guess, I feel like I've seen this trope a lot, like, oh, there's more than meets the eye. It's so common, but who knows? Maybe as the story goes further, they might throw some more interesting twists. But more cases of just jargon that means nothing being thrown around. There was a lot of instances where, especially when going to the fog and interacting with Lorelei, that there's just a lot of jargon being thrown around that was realistically never mentioned prior, at least from what I've played. So it's just very frustrating because there's all these words being thrown and nothing is. You can't really understand it. So I don't know. Personally, not, a huge fan of the story itself, but the aspects surrounding the story have gotten a lot better. Another thing that has gotten better are the characters and the progression of my account. Obviously. I just hit Union level 50 today, which means that I can level up my characters and weapons to level 80, and I can also push my talents to even higher levels. I'm pretty sure it caps out at level 8 for now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of feel like I hit a wall for a solid minute after I hit my Rover and Encore to level 70, and the same with their weapons, because I didn't really feel like leveling up my other characters to level 70, because I feel like if I spent any sort of wave plates, on bosses or on any sort of weekly content, then I'd be missing out on a huge portion of the rewards, because I do feel like bosses and weekly bosses scale very much when it comes to the amount of pieces that you get per clear. So I've kind of been holding out until I hit either Union level 50 or 60. Now that I am 50, I probably am going to put a stronger focus on leveling characters rather than just grabbing echoes, and see what sort of stats I can put on my characters to make my rotation smoother. Now we're going to be focusing on actually trying to get our numbers up. And I'm not entirely sure if I can unlock the outermost stat traces, but if I could do that too for my two most important characters, that would be really, really cool. But yeah, in terms of progression, we also have been pushing a little bit further into the Hazard Tower. We've gotten 15 crests instead of 12. And we've started a whole bunch of other endgame contents, events, and stuff like that. So in terms of Whimpering Wastes, we've actually started that now as well, and have progressed to the the sixth stage, I guess we can call it, the sixth stage. And we've also started the 1,000 Gateways, which, to be honest, considering that is a weekly event, is absolutely insane. It gives so many asteroids for how easy and fun it is. I genuinely feel like the 1,000 Gateways game mode is so much more fun than what Wuthering Waves had initially when the game first launched. Forcing yourself to play a specific character where you start with these, being completely honest, mediocre stats is kind of frustrating, if I were to be completely honest. But yeah, there's that. And then we also started some events. So because I've actually finished the Black Shores questline and started Rinascita, we've actually started the Tower Defense event. And that event is so fun. I genuinely think it is the most fun I've had in like an event in a gacha game in a very long time. It's the perfect amount of it kind of gets your brain moving and it's relaxing at the exact same time. If anything, it's satisfying just seeing all the numbers popping up and pushing the monsters off the terrain is just so good. This has genuinely been one of my favorite things, and I'm just starting to get to the final stages of the event, so we're gonna see how that turns out or what sort of twist they throw when I get to that. Alrighty, so here we are with a quick overview in terms of what's actually been going on. So, now that we've gotten Shorekeeper, our main focus has kind of just been this team for now with Shorekeeper, Encore, and Sanhua, because this is actually a proper team, which is really nice, I'd say. Once again, our Encore is fully level 70. With level 4s around here, this is still looking the same as the last episode, but the one thing that has been changing is the echoes. Because, once again, like as I hit level 70, I kind of just wanted to wait until I got to either Union level 50 or 60 before I actually started farming for characters so that I wasn't really missing out on resources. So we've been trying to hit more substats on echoes in general. We haven't really had much luck on Encore. We still only have like 2 per echo, which is kind of mediocre if I were to be completely honest. But our stat line overall doesn't look too bad, which is pretty good. And we do have a bunch of level 25s here, which is actually, you know, I think a little overkill for where I am. I'm trying to stop most of my echoes at level 20, because 20 is kind of like a good middle ground between like, you're still getting a lot of the value from the echo, but not dumping as many resources. The amount of XP that you have to put to get an echo from level 20 to 25 is a lot. 13 golds just for one attempt at a 25 is kind of disgusting, if I were to be completely honest. But yeah, there's that. Rover has also gotten small improvements. We now have a 3 cost with double crit. No, both of them have double crit, actually. This was here in the last episode, though, so nothing really changed there. And the 1 costs haven't changed. Verena, Shorekeeper, and Sanhua, we've been trying our best just to push up to 5-star echoes for more stats. If anything, the next character that I probably want to farm on is Shorekeeper to try to get her to that 250% energy regen. So that she doesn't feel very clunky to use, because, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, using Shorekeeper does not feel great right now. I have to spend a lot of time with her on field to charge her Liberation and to charge her Forte, so we're probably going to try working on that. I should be using some of my weekly materials on Jue so that I can level her up, but yeah. Now that I am Union level 50, we probably are going to be pushing more levels on characters. And considering that I just have more of my map unlocked, like, leveling up Shorekeeper was initially very, very difficult. You know, when you don't have the boss that you need to level up the character, it's kind of hard to level up the character, but I digress. Tower of Adversity, we've gone to 15, which is good. In terms of the Whimpering Waste, if I can find it. I don't know where it is. In terms of Whimpering Wastes, we have finished 5. Technically we finished 6 as well, but with a score that isn't really remarkable or good. The HP curve from this point on actually spikes quite a lot. None of my teams were even able to clear either of the sides, but it does make sense. It is suggested for level 75s, and my characters are not higher than level 70, so I'm assuming when I get to level 80, and when I do min-max my stuff a little bit further, that this will also just be an S. I'm hoping to get to 8 and beyond as soon as possible, because these are things that change every cycle, which means that it's another way of consistently making asteroids. I don't know if I actually needed 3 teams or not going forward from the 8th stage. If anybody knows, please feel free and leave a comment down below. But yeah, this is definitely one of my bigger focuses right now, or one thing that I want to focus on. And another thing that I want to focus on is, of course, still the story. I have finished Rinascita Act 2. I am like midway through Act 3. And Act 3 actually gives me another wave band on Havoc Rover, which of course is also very useful because Havoc Rover is one of my main carries, and getting, you know, Havoc Shred is a lot of extra damage. Getting an extra instance of Havoc damage is very useful. Getting more crit rate is also very useful. So yeah, definitely getting my hands on more of these, and it's also just a lot of resources. Finishing these quests, like a lot of asteroids, a lot of Union XP, it's just a good thing to do all around. So the more I hammer the story, the more I think I will benefit from it. And the more of the map I unlock, which means that I can interact with more of the events. I have taken the time to at least unlock a lot of the map up to this point. I do want to get all the way here, because I'm pretty sure this is where all the lower half of Rinascita is, where all the new characters are getting released, like Augusta. And I've kind of been flip-flopping 10 pulls between the 2 banners. Whichever one I hit is, you know, it's meant to be, you know what I'm saying? I've kind of just been 10 here, back and forth, and just seeing if I can hit either one, because I think both of these characters are good for my account. But when I get to Petty, I think I'm gonna try going for Augusta, strictly because of the fact that I have put more effort into Mortefi, and because Mortefi is a character that I'm going to be leveling up anyways, which means that it just works out. It's a lot more convenient to level up Mortefi. And Mortefi is actually, like, in terms of echoes, has been making a lot of big progress. He has this hero with energy regen and crit rate, which is good. Double crit here, nothing here, and this is also pretty solid. It's got a lot of stats. Even though it has no crit, it's still pretty good. And then this is a filler until I hit a Moonlit Clouds with attack. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're looking like for now. Now that I am Union level 50, I'm probably not just going to be throwing all of my wave plates into tacit fields. I'm probably actually going to be throwing them into actually leveling up my characters and doing things that will allow me to clear more difficult content. So yeah. And that'll pretty much be it for, I guess I should say, these weeks. I'm very much looking forward to doing the rest of the story and doing all the events. The events, after doing the tower defense one, has definitely got me excited for what sort of events they're going to be cooking up, or the other events that are out right now, just haven't really been able to get to them because they are still not unlocked yet, which is really annoying. But yeah, that'll be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and sub. I'm going to be going. I'm peacing out. Bye-bye. Much love.